Okay. Hi, this is Kaden,
This is Jordan,
and this is a Life is Tough podcast.
and today we're going to talk about fear.
Okay.
So, as a teenager, when I mention fear, what comes to mind?
As a teenager?
Yeah, so what are fears that you face? Like, so here soon, you're already driving, so you have those fears. But you're getting close to the age to where you're going to be out on your own. So, do you have fears for that?
Yes.
Okay, so what type of fears?
So I guess one of them is like, am I going to be able to do what I want to do? Am I going to achieve that goal? Or like, what happens if I get fired from my job and I living, I have a good home life, but then I get fired and it just kind of all goes downhill and I'm out of money because I keep paying bills over and over and over.
So your concern is mainly like just something snowballing, causing a lot of problems,
and like domino effect,
which can happen.
Yeah.
Which is one of the things we've talked about on getting you kids prepared on leaving and making sure you're not worried or you guys have me and Dad, but we want to make sure you guys are set up to where financially you'll be a little more comfortable than what we were, because we had financially, we didn't know what we were doing.
Yeah, but I mean it's normal, I feel like, but I do feel like a lot of teenagers have that problem. Like they're scared that like they're gonna grow up and stuff, and then things are gonna get bad. And like a lot of people are scared of growing up because I mean it's life, but it happens, and I feel like the way things are now, it is kind of hard to do things. Like some people can't even like afford food, and I think that's what's a big problem.
Yeah, because of the inflation and everything, that's another thing that me and your dad have talked about on how to set you guys up and to make sure you guys are comfortable when you leave.
Yeah.
So do you know what all you need to get your first apartment?
Not just yet.
So right now, based off of like basic high school knowledge, maybe what you've heard, what do you think you would need for an apartment right now?
Well, you've got to be able to afford it.
Mm-hmm. So proof of income.
Yeah, proof of income. I feel like I've watched a video on this because I was bored. Proof of income is one, I'm pretty sure.
Mm-hmm.
And you need somebody to vouch for you for that, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, so references.
I don't think you need your GED or anything.
For an apartment?
Or like your diploma.
Not usually. But depending on what type of apartment, so bigger cities are like New complex York. Business or apartment complexes, not business complex. But a lot of those will require a credit check.
What's another one? Like being of age to live, like, because you can't live by yourself if you're like
too young.
Yeah, like maybe my age. I mean, maybe like 17. Like I've seen some people who are 17 living in apartments, but not.
As long as you can prove that you can afford it and you can pay for it.
Yeah.
And right now, with the way things are, you have to be able to show that you have 3 times the income for that apartment.
Yeah. All right. So
fear-wise, what else can you think of, like moving out on your own or job-wise? So with the fear, do you think it's a fear of failure?
Yeah. I feel like it's like not really a fear that oh, this is like somebody's gonna cause it. I think it's just fear I have that I'm gonna fail. Like I'm gonna do this wrong and it's gonna cause a snowball effect and I'm gonna be done.
So when you are getting in those thoughts and things, so when you start worrying about school and your grades and you get all those repetitive thoughts, I've told you that's the term of spiraling.
Yeah.
So you're going to get stuck in those thoughts. And half the time, those thoughts aren't even your thoughts or your beliefs. Those are things that could have been told to you by somebody else or somebody else's belief that you just took on.
Yeah.
So the I'm not good enough or I'm not strong enough or.
And, I mean, that's a lot of people have, like, that's what happened to a lot of people.
It is.
I feel like somebody will say something and they'll take that on and then they'll be like, oh, I don't like this or I'm scared of this.
Yeah.
Because they've made themselves believe they are because they heard it from somebody else.
Right. And then the kids just want to fit in.
Yeah.
So they're going to do and say things to make other people like them, even if it's not their authentic self.
Yeah.
You went through phases.
I went through a lot of phases.
And sister. Everybody, I mean, I did. Everybody goes through phases trying to figure out what you like and who you are.
Yeah.
Instead of just trying to fit in. Because fitting in is not always going to get you very far.
No, it's not. And I've realized that recently. Not even recently, maybe just like these past few years of being in high school. It's just like, it's a whole big thing.
What do you mean?
Like, people at my school, like, they are very, I don't mean this in a mean way, but they are very judgy, and some people don't tend to do it because, like, it's just everybody else is like it.
Yeah.
Like, so they judge a lot, and then the more they judge, it gets worse and worse, and that affects more people.
Yeah. Now, when people are sitting there judging, that could be based off of things they've heard, from parents or family members to cause that view or judgment. And then that's also an ego thing. So I'm going to say, well, what you're wearing is ugly to make myself feel better for the day.
Yeah. I understand that. Like, you can have...
That's a subconscious thing. It's not always...
Yeah.
You're not purposely doing it all the time. At least not most people.
And I mean, I think people are scared of, like, being different because somebody else will dress differently and they'll be like, oh, that's not right, or that's just weird. And
why would you do that?
Yeah, why would you wear that? Like, but I mean,
okay, so we've talked about you moving out on your own as you get older. What are certain expectations you might have?
Well, I want to live in a stable house, maybe. Like, not that I'm, like, worried, like, around, like, a bad area, I guess. Like...
So a nice neighborhood and somewhere...
Not even a nice neighborhood. Maybe just, like, out in the middle... Not in the middle of nowhere, because I need to be able to access, like, a grocery store and stuff. Or, like, if I need to get my car fixed, and I'm, like, not... I don't, like, have, like, a mechanic friend or boyfriend, husband, whatever.
Yeah.
I need to be close to somewhere that'll do that. Obviously, I'm going to try and learn that, because... of Dad, but so safe area. I want to be able to make enough money to provide for myself, for the things I need and stuff. Maybe for the things I want, but mostly need.
What about expectations as in, so say you start a family, you have kids. Expectation wise, are you expecting, like, babysitting wise, family to help, me to help? Are you wanting babysitter,
because I'm
daycare?
Because I'm wanting to move, and it's gonna be, I've talked to you about, like, you and Dad want to move to a different state, but I have this that one state that I'm set on because it's my favorite state. Although it is very expensive, but I guess not really, because then this is very not a big thing in my generation. I feel like everybody wants to be, like, independent and stuff, but I want to be able to stay at home. And I know that sounds like lazy, but
you mean like a stay-at-home mom?
Yeah,
that's not lazy.
Like, I want to clean and stuff, and I know people are like, well, you should be out working.
Yeah.
It's not what I want to do.
Not everybody wants to do that. Some people want to be that parent, and they want to have that home life.
Yeah.
They want to be that soccer mom, They want to be at all the games and cheering on their kid because that's what's important to them.
I'd rather be a stay-at-home mom with my kids and stuff. So I wouldn't, I mean, unless I'm going out, I mean, maybe, like, if I, like, let's say, like, I get married to somebody, and, like, their, like, mom or their dad or their grandma or grandpa is close, like, maybe have them babysit, because I know you guys, I mean, I'm not always going to be around you guys, and as much as that is upsetting, I gotta find ways around it.
Why is that upsetting?
I don't know, because me and you have a really strong bond, I guess, and I've always around you, like literally always, unless I'm at school, and that is gonna be hard on me, but I'm gonna have to grow out of it.
Well, phone calls and
obviously
visits and FaceTime, and it's not like I'm gonna ignore you.
Yeah, but
I know you also don't want me bothering you 24/7 when you're out on your own.
I mean, I'm fine with that. This name drop. I know my sister's gonna bug me a lot. I'm gonna cut that part out.
Yeah, it's okay.
I don't really mind if you bother me a lot or anybody in general. But
so on the last video we talked about self-love, self-care, and that kind of things. We had somebody leave a comment, and I went over it and I read some things, and one of the things I pulled up was when you're neglecting your self-care and you're not doing any self-love, you're going to isolate. A lot of people tend to isolate and keep themselves away from other people. Some people do it as a process, like a way to process things. Some people just are afraid of the turnout of what could happen. And another thing was for self-love is being a people pleaser. We talked about that, and not being able to say no.
I feel like I especially tend to do that.
In what ways?
I guess I just I've gotten a little bit better with it, but I still people please a lot, just because I don't want people to be upset, and I don't want them to get mad at me, which will cause I always think well, if this happens, if I don't say yes, they're gonna get mad at me, and then they're going to either take their anger out on me, or they're just going to I guess find somebody else to do it with them or something, or
you feel like you'll get left out.
Yeah.
If you just don't go along with it.
Either I'll get left out, or they'll yell at me and stuff.
So that kind of thing also goes into adulthood, especially with your jobs. So a lot of people will be that people pleaser, and they'll go above and beyond, and they'll do their work plus 3 other people's, just because they want to be important in some form or fashion, and they don't want anybody mad at them. So they're going to do everything they can to make everybody around them happy. So the boss, other employees, things like that.
Yeah.
What about not being able, you're upset, but you don't understand why, and you can't figure out how to tell somebody you're upset. So say something happened with you and a friend, and there was a big miscommunication. Somebody didn't understand something, and now they're mad at you. A lot of kids will get to at that point where they don't know how to say what they're feeling or how they're feeling or their side of the situation in that aspect. They're going to fall into that people pleaser thing and just try and make the other person happy and say they did whatever, even if they didn't.
Yeah, I do that. This happened a few times, I feel like, to me. And I don't know. I don't really know a lot of people who do that. I always tend to say, I know a lot of people who do that, but, I mean, it's usually just people, who have always grown up shy or something.
Yeah.
Who are people pleasers, and I mean, that's not in a bad way.
No, and it's not.
It's just the way, their environment, I guess.
Yeah.
And, the people they've been around, or their trauma or something.
all of that plays into it.
Yeah.
So finding a balance as you get out on your own is going to be hard, but it's going to be the thing that keeps you going. Not everything's going to run perfect. Things aren't always going to be so easy, and every day is not going to be butterflies and cupcakes. So you have to find the good with the bad.
Yeah.
And what other things do you think you can think of?
For what? The question you were just talking about?
No, for anything. So for anything we've talked about. So self-love, self-care, boundaries. As a teenager and dealing with everyday stress from school, sports, activities, different things like that, what have you found to help reduce stress for you? Or maybe friends, different things they use.
I guess one of the big ones is probably baking.
Yeah.
Like, I know you tend to do that a lot to reduce stress too. Baking, reading, just not really isolating yourself, but spending some time by yourself is really calming.
Alone time does reduce
because
stress.
like it's a really big thing with especially with school, because you're constantly surrounded by people.
Yeah.
So much things going on.
One of these days we'll get a good episode in.
How do you reduce stress? What do you find?
So for a lot of adults, you'll find like taking a drive, taking a bath or a shower, walks. Even though as annoying as it is, walking can help your mental health.
Yeah, especially like if it's like maybe like a chilly day, like not too cold but warm.
Yeah,
but there's like a slight breeze that helps a lot, I feel like.
Yeah, movement in general can help release stress because it's going to help lower your cortisol levels, which raise when you're stressed.
Yeah,
especially if you're stressed and you're like in fight or flight mode.
Yeah.
Like, coloring.
Yeah, that's
painting,
a big thing.
Writing.
You can honestly, like, reducing stress, there's so many ways you could, like...
Video games is a popular one for adults.
Some people, they're stressed out, but, sometimes I guess playing stressful games, like, if that makes sense.
You mean, like Call of Duty or something?
Yeah, or, like...
Yeah,
puzzle games or something, it helps.
Yes, so those certain games can help release dopamine and things like that, which is actually going to chemically lower your stress. Yeah. What are some things you think that are going to stress you out more when you move out on your own?
Jobs.
Why? Because
I'm not going to be there unless I text you. I'm not going to have, like, you to talk to or something. Like, if that makes sense. I'm going to...
Like, if there's situations going on?
Yeah, or if, like, something, like, bad happens. Like, I'm going to need to know how to do that myself, and, that's going to be stressful.
Yeah.
But, I'll have to push through it. So.
Yeah. But those are days where you can always call and, walk through things. For people or kids that don't have somebody that they can talk to, did you know you could use ChatGPT? You can actually talk into it and explain the whole conversation as long as you're honest and explain all sides of it. ChatGPT can give you a breakdown of the situation on what happened, like if there was gaslighting or if there was boundaries broken and things like that. It can kind of help you understand how things went down or maybe what you did wrong.
Yeah. I did not know that.
Yeah.
No. Stress-wise,
there's just a lot, right?
Yeah,
you'll find more as you're coming to it. So because you're not even there yet, it's harder for you to understand. So once you're there and you see it, you can't unsee it. So you'll learn. But I think we need to call this episode. I've got more baking I have to finish.
Okay.
And then we'll do another one soon.
Yeah.
If you guys have any questions or comments or input, please let us know in the comments.
That's all for today.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.